Welcome to the channel. We're personal trainers. My name's Tom Peto and this is Sophia Williams, and we're going to talk through the internet's most common fitness questions. So I've gone through Google and I've looked up what are the most common fitness questions. I've picked what I think are the best ones and we're just going to chat. I haven't looked at the questions too much again since I initially wrote it. Sophia's had a brief look, but we haven't prepared any answers, so this will be our real-time reaction to these questions. So let's get started with the first one. So this is the best one I saw and probably the most common one that was popping up, and it was, what is best for weight loss? Is it strength training, cardio, or both? I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, well I think regardless you should be strength training, because as soon as you start building muscle you're going to be increasing your metabolism, because obviously muscle will burn more calories at rest.
Yeah, so like increasing your metabolic rate a bit.
Yeah, but it also depends on where you're starting from. If you're a complete beginner, you don't want to be going straight into hardcore strength training, running 3 times a week. It's quite a lot.
What do you think about exercise and like burning calories? How much impact do you think your exercise-based calorie burning has on your weight loss?
Well, I think if weight loss is your goal, you want to be focusing a little bit more on your calories.
Yeah.
So reducing your calories, because to burn a pound of fat, you need to be burning 3,500 calories.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So setting your goals,
yeah,
watching your calories, and then using exercise just as an extra tool to help you along the way.
I think what you said, you're talking about
but you didn't mention calories, that's why.
Yeah,
you just said strength
it's
training
hard to burn 3,500 calories in the gym. Like, I think that's really tough. So I agree with your answer that I think strength training is probably more important as far as maintaining your muscle mass during weight loss, because like you said, 3,500 calories for 1 pound. If you ever get like a Fitbit on and try and burn 3,500 calories, it's like demoralized, it's like soul destroying looking at it. You'll do a really hard workout, look at it and it'll be like 300 calories. And it's like, I think a croissant is maybe 420 calories.
You're better off not eating that croissant.
Yeah, so I think strength training, mixed with like moderating your nutrition.
Yeah, like get moving more basically, and reduce your calories.
This is if we're talking about weight loss. So obviously cardio,
I think cardio
has benefit.
Yeah, I was going to say cardio has its place.
Yeah.
But I also think, if your heart rate's working, like getting up.
Yeah, I think weight training can also be cardio. Essentially, cardio is just high heart rate.
Yeah.
And if you've ever done like a superset workout, your heart rate is probably at that of a slow to light jog anyway.
Your heart doesn't know if you're running or if you're doing a heavy squat.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it doesn't care. Your heart doesn't care whether
it's just getting a workout.
Whether it says.
Yeah. But
cardio.
like I said, I do think a nice 20-minute brisk walk, 30-minute run has its place as well.
Yeah, one of the best interventions I had with one of my clients was literally just set a step count. It's so effective. Just 8 to 10,000 steps every day just gets that base amount of activity that I think we're meant to be doing anyway. So we looked at their steps and they were doing 2,500 steps a day. Now they're probably coming to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, probably 4 times every week. But actually adding the steps in was probably the biggest change we had.
They're NEAT, they're non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Yeah, so that's a big hot topic, I think, at the moment is...
Just get moving.
Yeah, NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is potentially more important for weight loss than the gym calories you burn.
Yeah, but it's still important to get in the gym.
Yeah. All right, let's go on the next one. Okay, this is just the classic question. How to shred belly fat. That word shred as well, as if you're just going to rip it right off. And how to lose weight fast.
Oh, they're good. They're good titles.
Yeah, so let's say if I was a client and I came in and I said, all right, I really want to know, how do I shred belly fat? What would be your first response?
I'd say we can't spot reduce fat on your body.
Let people know what spot reduce.
So you can't pick a point and be like, I just want to reduce the fat from my bingo wings, and that's it. I just want that to go. You can't pick and choose where it's going to go. Genetics will play a role in it. mainly genetics really. People are all different. Some people lose weight more from the face first down, some people up.
So that's
from
what they
bottom
can't
up.
do. What do you think they can do?
What can they do? Focus on losing weight.
Losing weight.
In general.
Yeah.
If they need to, or increase muscle mass.
I feel like it's basically just like, look at your intake of calories. Do you know what? The first thing I addressed with someone, let's say, so they're asking that probably because they're overweight.
Yes.
Otherwise,
okay.
well, they might just have body dysmorphia and think they're overweight. But generally, they're going to be overweight if they ask that question. So the first thing I usually try and do is, all right, let's try, rather than trying to figure out the fix, which is maybe like eat less calories, move more, which is essentially, that is the information, isn't it? That is how you lose weight.
Yes.
Have less calories coming into your body than you have going out.
Yes.
And then your mass will come down. And like you said, you can't spot reduce it from your belly, unfortunately, but a proportion will come from your belly. But I find what I've started to do later in my personal training career is try and get to the root cause of why they are taking in more calories than they're expending. And if you can figure that out, I think you can then put in place. So it might, for like a working mum, sometimes it's that they've put their kids above their own health in their like priorities in life. For some people, for a lot of people, it might be that they put their work above their health. And I think until you can get them to realize that, you're literally putting like a Band-Aid on like a
I
big
think
wound.
we essentially, like you said, eat less, move more. It just sounds so simple, and it is.
Yeah.
However, there are many, like you said, many other factors that come into play. Like, why might someone be binge eating at night time, or why might they be starving themselves all day because they're rushed off their feet? And again, the binge will happen, and then maybe there's a depressive episode, or maybe a comfortable episode where they just want to stay in and eat. So yeah, like you said, getting to that root cause, which is the hard part.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying eat less, move more. Like if it was that simple, without all the layers of being a complicated human being, and without life being so complicated, like we'd all have six packs walking around outside. Like we'd all be like that. This
was actually my initial, I wouldn't say problem, but so do you know James Smith?
Yes.
Probably the most trending personal trainer in the UK at the moment, online.
That's a big time.
So his big thing, and I feel like the thing that like hooked him into, I mean, generally just him being blunt was what got him noticed, I think, and also given out some good information but he would just say it's just calories in, calories out, calories in, calories out.
Just don't eat as much.
And just don't eat as much. And to some extent, I didn't like that, because I was like, it doesn't always help the person recognize like why they're eating that.
Or their trigger or their habit that they have.
And I think that message was so hammered in. And so I actually put a post on our members group once, almost against this, because some people were recommending it. And I just wanted to show a bit of sympathy that I don't think that people are lazy just because they're overweight. And I don't think that, it's not that they don't understand what to do. In defense for James though, I think he was saying it to combat a lot of the sort of
fads.
Like, the fad salesmanship that goes on, where they're trying to like I don't know, let's say the ketone, what is it?
Keto diet,
Juice
plus, all of those like meal replacement shakes.
But
actually, James Smith.
We can mention brands. I don't know. Actually, no, maybe we won't.
We might get big time, and then we'll get blocked on YouTube. No, but James Smith has also openly admitted, he's like, I'm a personal trainer and I'm not shredded. He said, because I want to eat like, he's like, I want to do that. He said, and then I have to cut back. And then as he was talking about this, I diet if I need to, or I say diet reduces calories, you know, calorie deficit he bangs on about. But that's a hard way to live as well, isn't it? So I feel like he does understand that it's not as simple as eat less and move more.
I think he knows. I think it was a simple message that combated that trend, but when taken in isolation,
like anything,
actually was tough, or almost came across wrong. It came across wrong to me. Now I actually watch his podcast now, and I think his information generally is great.
Yeah.
And actually,
I think he's softened a bit.
Yeah, you were talking about him. This is just a gossip on James Smith. James Smith, if you ever see this, I do like your podcast.
Yeah, we do like you. We're fans, don't worry,
I'm sure you thick skin
creating stimulating conversation
can take the criticism. But I agree. I think he did have that let loose at weekend, or anyone, lots of people have that let loose at weekend and try and call it balance, but I don't think that is balance. I think binging is, you almost, if you go too far that way, it is hard to pull it back in. You just have that yo-yo mindset. I find when people tend to yo-yo, they tend to yo-yo up.
But also, weight loss, spot reducing abs, just back to that question. You can't be in a calorie deficit forever.
No.
You can't. So there is an element of a calorie deficit, and then rather than binging and doing what you want, it's maintenance. So it is a lot about numbers, but then I think that in itself is a problem. Like, can you imagine living your life constantly tracking your calories? Like, that's not fun either. And life is for living too. Like, to be fit and healthy in a world where we can enjoy ourselves and eat, is that not the ultimate health?
So what I tend to do, I do find that tracking calories does work.
Yeah.
So I've got a client, you know her, and she came in, I think she was 70 something kilos. So she's lost 10 kilos, and we've used MyFitnessPal the whole time. But throughout, we also talked about, we kind of just made sure basically that she wasn't getting obsessed with it, and that it was, this is a way to get a perception of the amount you're eating. This is not like, you're not living as a slave to MyFitnessPal. And with some people that I think are more susceptible to that, what I do with them is we do 2 weeks on MyFitnessPal to get a base calories, and we figure out how many calories they have to have. And 2 weeks is long enough to like get your nutritional habit going. And then we come off MyFitnessPal, but try and keep eating the same portions that they had figured out on MyFitnessPal. And then as long as their progress keeps improving, so the weight's coming down or going up or whatever they're trying to achieve. And then if we ever get to a point where they're either plateauing or going the wrong way, we do 2 more weeks to check that what we'd previously figured out as their calories is still the amount they're consuming. And a lot of the time they're like, oh, actually, I tracked it this week and I've crept up. You know, like those weekend binges are actually killing my whole week's average. So I think MyFitnessPal, you can use it intermittently to be like a check of your portion control.
That's how I use MyFitnessPal. Anyway, let's go back to questions.
Yeah, we're going to get through about 3 questions today, and that's fine. Save some for another time.
We don't want to ruin it all for everyone. You've got Rachel.
Let's go some more exercise ones. Okay, I just typed in best exercises for. Number 1 was abs. I think people are asking this because they want abs, and they just need to. I was going to say
the question,
But you just need to lose fat, really.
Yeah, if people say I want abs, they want to have low body fat percentage really to show up their muscles. Everyone's got muscles there, you have to have those muscles to move. But we tend to think more about abs as like your core, well I do anyway, and like is it good?
Okay, so let's just go with
hypothetically,
let's say your abs are just starting to show through, but they're not very well developed.
Yes.
What's your?
I know what you're going to say because this is what you've taught me.
What is your favourite? It can be the same. What's your favourite exercise? You're just starting to see your abs, but you want them to pop a little bit more. Give me.
Well, I'm going to do what you're going to say.
Okay, give me 3 then, and then one of them won't be my favourite.
What are my 3 favourite ab exercises? You can tell I never train my abs. I don't do them. Well, I know that Tom is going to say he likes those big, difficult movements.
Go on, which one?
Like a sling reverse crunch.
Yeah, but
really
what about
like.
you?
What do I like?
Yeah.
I really like the incline reverse crunch.
Yeah.
I do like that.
If you don't know what that is, so you're on a bench, your head is higher, you've put the bench like on its decline as if you're going to do a decline bench press, and you can like hold onto a rack or the top of the bench, and you're going to basically do a reverse crunch rolling your knees up towards your triceps. So you're basically doing a reverse crunch uphill. So yeah, I agree.
I really like any dead bug variation.
Yeah.
I really love them because I just really think they help a lot of the time, people who are struggling with lower back pain, they just need to strengthen their deep core muscles and stabilize the hips, and I just think that's a really good way, and you can progress it by adding a little bit of weight or bands or loads of things you can play around with doing, so I do like that. And then what else do I quite like if I'm going to train my abs?
Go on, one more. The dead bug basically works your transverse abs.
Yeah.
So it's like a long muscle that wraps, I call it your corset.
Yeah,
so it's like your transverse abs are like a corset that wraps around the front, and it's used more in like squats and deadlifts.
Yeah, so that contracts
like
this way around to tighten
as
around. So
like,
actually people who want to have a smaller waistline and they're going crunch, 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 they're only working like these six-pack abs, and really, they really want to be working these ones.
Yeah, you can learn to like, I think you can learn to like hold good tension in your abs.
Yeah.
Not like
you don't want to be tense all the
all
time.
day long, but as in, rather than just being
they get stronger,
relaxed.
don't they?
Yeah, you get better at holding an engaged core position.
And another ab exercise.
I'll go with mine then.
We'll go.
I like, probably my number one is a hanging reverse crunch.
I remember when, I know what that is. Is that when I came in that time when you were just like hanging upside down like a bat?
Oh, no. I mean, no, I mean hanging on a bar, probably actually strict toes to bar. So not the CrossFit toes to bar, like you're wiggling like a fish. I mean, like strict, literally toes to bar, straight leg, slowly lowering on the way down. 3 sets of 12 on that for me, and then I'd probably don't want to do any more ab work for the rest of the week. So that'd be number one. I like the sling reverse crunch as well. And then I actually like a cable crunch, although barely.
That one.
Yeah, I think
I feel it's a really awkward one to get into though, and very easy to get wrong.
I agree. I think if you do it right, it's one of the best ones, but it actually takes as much practice as like a deadlift or something to get it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you need to be taught it by someone that does it regularly. I do think that's a tough one.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Best exercise for glutes. Go on, give me your top 2 exercises. If you could only do 2 glute exercises, what would you do? For developing
and growing your glutes.
Bootylicious.
Ooh, bootylicious one. There's got to be a deadlift, hasn't it? A Romanian deadlift.
I think Romanian deadlift, yeah.
And probably hip thrust.
Like a barbell hip
thrust.
Yeah.
For growing glutes. But I really felt really good on my glutes when I started doing the hex bar deadlifts, when you flip it over so you get a bit lower.
Okay, yeah, lower.
Then I was like, oh, I'm hitting a different like range in my glutes right now.
I think
I felt really like a good glute, not like that pinchy one. I tell you what I don't like is any of those like pinchy external rotation ones, because that always like irritates
your back.
My piriformis.
Do you mean like with a band? Or,
all those banded booty ones. Banded booty. I haven't done like an abduction exercise on a machine in years, so I couldn't say anymore if I think it's good or bad. But all those banded ones, like where it's like burn, feel the burn. I just feel like that's just working my like external rotation muscles, which are small compared to your big fat juicy glute max.
I agree with you on that. Like, so the glute bands are popular because they feel like there's a burning sensation, but there's a muscle called your TFL, tensor fascia latae, and your abductors. And those bands, I think they hit them way more, and they actually don't hit your glute max, which is actually sort of like if you're in leggings, that's what you can see shaping. Yeah,
you don't see your
legs.
little tiny external rotator muscles.
So they feel the best because they're the easiest to isolate.
Yeah.
But as far as effectiveness, you're right, the big movements. Years of American football though, all the sprint training and stuff like that, I'd train like basically all the power moves, and all the sprint exercises are really good for developing your glutes.
So they just
not from an aesthetic point of view, but they just pop like that. Yeah. And in American football, spandex sort of pants as well.
And all the guys are posing in the mirror like this.
Well, not quite, but yeah.
Right. Go on. What's your favourite glute exercises?
Glutes work really well when you're like increasing the range of motion beyond what you'd normally do. So you basically need to like get this angle as tight as possible. So I like a barbell deficit reverse lunge.
Ooh, yeah.
All on one leg and then all on the next leg. So like 2 plates or a small step, Barbell, because otherwise your grip gives up before the dumbbells. And like, let's say 10 reps of a deficit reverse lunge, hitting your knee literally to just gently touch the floor so you're not smashing it. That's probably the exercise that I feel my glutes sorest, my actual glute max sorest the next day. So that's probably like my number one glute exercise, and probably people don't do it very often.
No. I mean, I like a deficit lunge. Yeah, actually, and I do a step up as well. I find if you can get over, like a nice high step up, get your body weight over, you're again extending that muscle.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think we should do all these exercises.
Yeah. So basically, top advice: give up the booty band workouts, as popular as they are on YouTube.
If you need a bit of rehab, it's probably fine.
And try some large compound lifts. I actually disagree with you on the Romanian deadlift being a good glute exercise.
It's more of a hamstring exercise.
I think it's like, obviously your glutes are working, upper hamstring. Do you know, to make it better, if you want it more glute, you've seen me do this. If you put a band around a rack, and then step into the band, walk forwards, and then still do the dumbbell Romanian deadlift or whatever you want, but you're going to glute bridge against the band. So you're almost doing a hip thrust against the band, squeeze your glutes, and I think it adds that extra glute in.
Well,
but it's a bit of a faff to sell.
Yeah, also I wouldn't want people then thrusting their hips forward on every single...
No, but if you learn to pelvic...
Yeah, no, I would agree on that now. I was under pressure. So. I think a really good exercise is a deficit.
Shouldn't call you out on things, should I? All right, should we go one more?
One more.
Here, do you want to choose one?
Okay, let's ask Tom.
Pick one.
Oh, actually, I would like to discuss this because genuinely,
I
think it's quite, I don't know the answer.
Go on, ask the question.
How much protein do I need?
All right, what are you trying to achieve?
I just want to hit my protein target.
I do have an answer. So there is an answer, like...
Yeah, there's a mathematical equation, isn't there? For like every kilo or pound you want to be eating X amount of grams of protein.
So when I
don't know what it is.
When I was in uni, we had there's a book called Sports Nutrition written by Michael Gleason and Asker Ukendrop. It's a great book if you're a geek on this. So it's called Sports Nutrition. It's basically the number one textbook for nutrition. It's definitely in the UK. I don't know if they probably use it around Europe. I don't know what the US use. And that basically just has all of the kind of like biochemistry, but it also talks about it's for sports nutrition. And you can just read there, and it tells you the optimum, they've done studies, and it tells you the optimum protein amounts. So they say for like endurance athletes, bearing in mind I did my degree, finished it in 2011, but I don't think it's changed too much since then on this. They said endurance athletes, 1.4 grams per kilogram of body weight.
Yeah, I'm so impressed that you knew this off the top of your head.
And then for like weightlifters, it'd be 1.8 grams, but let's just call it 2 grams because it's easier per kilo of body weight. So I'm 80 kilos, vaguely, just a bit over, but we'll call it 80. And then, so that would be 160 grams of protein for me a day.
Yeah.
Now, obviously I'm not gonna have 160 grams in one go, so I might divide that into 4. So what we've got, half 160 is, what's that, 80.
And then half again.
Half again.
40.
So we're going to have like 40
grams.
So 40 grams a meal. Now that's a lot for me, a meal. 40 grams of protein is like more than a chicken breast. So that's going to be tough to hit. So for me even, to really hit that top end, I'm going to probably have 5 meals a day. So it is a high level to hit. You're going to have some 40 grams, which is not a problem. I think it does work, but it takes real conscious effort to hit that.
Here's another one. This is kind of going off a little bit on a tangent, and I just... trying to get it in my head now, say someone is overweight.
That's what I was going to consider,
So do you go for your ideal body weight?
Yeah, so I think that's the main problem with that as a measure, is if someone comes in at 100 kilos, the number is blown out. So I think that number is great. If you get someone in and they're a competitive athlete or already lean, that number is actually really accurate for giving you the ideal amount. But yeah, if someone's overweight, I think the NHS says 80 grams a day, I think.
Okay.
Now, I think that's on the low end of what's optimum. they're not accounting for someone weight training and needing those extra amino acids. So I always say 80 is your absolute minimum.
Yes.
Now, if you're lean, you can say, so for me, 160 is going to be my absolute maximum. Now that's a huge range. Now, how much can your body absorb in one meal? That's going to be around over 30 grams, doesn't seem to have much difference. So if your body can only have 30 grams in one meal,
yeah,
then you have to think what's realistic for the amount of meals I'm going to have. So for me personally, I think, well, I can eat 4 times a day. I can have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a post-workout like protein shake or something like that. Now, if 30 grams is around the peak that I can absorb anyway, then the maximum really I need to get in is 3, 6, 9, 12. So I aim personally for 120 grams of protein, conscious protein. So that might be like a chicken breast, that might be like a protein shake. Now, actually, things like peas and bread and stuff, they have a little bit of protein in, so that probably bumps me up to about 150 grams a day just from that. So my advice basically is have 20 to 35 grams of protein per meal, every meal. And that's it, whether you eat 3 times a day. If you're eating less than 3 times a day, then
well, could be on that one meal a day.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Mad.
You're going to have a bit more then. Yeah. So yeah, basically, let's say 20 to 30 grams of protein 3 times a day. And then you're pretty much always going to hit, aren't you, your 80 gram minimum and going into the over. And pretty much the more the better, up to a certain point where you're not eating junk food.
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Just before we try this, let us know in the comments below, did you enjoy this discussion? Do you have any other questions you'd like us to answer? I'll link Sophia's channel in the description below. You can check her out, the Mum Bod PT. She's got a YouTube channel. She tends to specialize in pre and postnatal fitness, but you have got some light workouts just for women and anyone generally, haven't you?
Yeah, home workouts.
Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe, see you soon.